Hi, you guys. Welcome back to all new episode of Black Girl Can't Cook, the podcast on body image, cooking, and self love. You guys, I am so excited for this week's guest. I have Brie Nunn. She is a host of her own podcast show, Brie the Black Sheep. Please welcome Brie Nunn on the
Hey
show.
y'all, what's up? What's up?
I am so one. I haven't had this much energy like on a late Wednesday night in forever, but I'm so excited to see you, Bree.
Me
Thank you so much
too.
for joining me. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Good. I got to go see my favorite podcast this weekend, this past weekend, which is a podcast that the reason I have a podcast, I don't know if you heard of The Read or if anyone listens to The Read, but I got to go see them front row and I'm just having the best week. I'm having
The
such a good
best
week.
week. And now tell me and my listeners, what is the read and what is that show about? Because I do love as a podcaster, like I got into podcasting because it was other shows and other people that put it in me. But what is the read? What is the premise?
The Read was literally one of the first podcasts ever. Like a decade ago, they started out Black podcasting. Like everyone that podcasts to this day, they were one of the first ones that made everyone else start doing it.
Oh wow.
So it's a queer woman. Her name's Crystal, and then a queer guy, Kid Fury. He's gay, and it's just like political commentary, comedy. They read people. They just talk about what's going on in the world, and they also read listener letters, which is hilarious. Yeah.
My gosh. Wait, and how was the live show? How was it?
Amazing. Amazing. I was front row and they're hilarious. They're one of them is a therapist, like just started going to school to finish up her master's for therapy.
Wow.
And Kid Fury is like a comic comedian, but he's going through his mental health struggles and just watching them grow and blossom and struggle and be real about it and be
Mhm.
funny. It's like it makes you feel like you're talking to your cousins. Like these my
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And you've told me about the read and I've seen the icon listeners. It's iconic. It's always like on Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, like they've grown so much. So I'll just the thing with podcasts, it's like, oh, do you want to start over? It sounds like I can just hop in anywhere. So like I'll just like go play an episode tomorrow and get into it.
Oh, absolutely. You can start anywhere.
That's good. That's good. When I have listeners or new people come on the show, I love to start off the show like, how did we meet? What's our story? But Brie and guys, we were Instagram friends. I was following you all throughout the pandemic, and like listeners, I hate to be like I had a girl crush, but I was just like, this bitch is so cool. We have the same name. She lives in New York. She's from Texas, and like it was just I guess, yeah, it's like a secret crush of just like, oh, I like her, but like I never. And uh, fast forward to we did meet, but how did we meet? What's our story?
I don't remember what made us hang out when we finally did, but I feel like we were just so infatuated with each other online. I was like, when I found out you had first of all, we had like some sort of conversation, and then I found out you had a podcast, and I was like, oh my God, another podcast girly. I was obsessed. I listened. I'm like,
Mhm.
you were just, you know how you like people, but some things are off. You were like all around like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. I don't remember the first time we hung out. I have a terrible memory.
I
What
don't
happened?
eat. I can't.
Yes, I do. Yeah, wait. We went out and we were like screaming all night. We were just like, ah, like we were just
Oh
having the best time. Remember?
Uh,
We went to a bar or
girl,
something.
listeners, we were in the deep. It was a rainy, random ass Saturday night. No, Friday. Maybe it might have been Friday, Saturday. And we met in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So white now, y'all. But we met at that bar. And because you were
Yeah.
running late, but then you know what it was? Listeners, a Prince song came on. Then we talked about our mamas. And then it was like, oh, it's a connect.
Yes, it was. I was like, you remind me of like younger teenage years and just like the fun. I don't know. You were just such a burst of energy of like a version of me that was just like, oh my God. I was like, I will be friends like forever. Like I could just tell
Yeah.
we're gonna be friends that actually talk. Like, oh my God.
Same. And I feel like too, it encourages me even more so. It's like, well, we are in the age of digital and internet, and we have to make friends online. Like, I feel like, I don't know if you can relate coming out of COVID and even like the last year, friendship breakups have just been shaping me. I'm 29 and I don't want to say like I'm triggered or I have my guard up. No, I don't want the fucking world to make me cold and hard. But I do. I have my binoculars on, right? And I have my. I don't even want to say my guard up. I hate that term, but I do have my wherewithal of new friends. But I know, like intuitionally and gut, same. Like I was like, it's just a good vibe. And you guys, Brie is so intelligent, and we're not even that much age different apart. But I learn so much from you every time I'm with you. So I love that. And I know I felt an instant connection too. I really, really did.
Oh, thank you, Brie, for saying
Yeah, no,
that.
you're a beautiful soul. Um, I like to start off asking everyone, what is the relationship like that you have with your body? Right now today, like how are you feeling in your body? What does that relationship look like? And I know it changes from day to day, but how are you today?
It literally changes day to day. I think I am right now in this spot of just feeling like it's just my body. And I'll take that over like there are extremes where like I love it so much and I'm aware of it and how it looks all the time and I'm infatuated with it. And at times I'm in that same infatuation in the worst way, like just cannot stop obsessing. I think right now where I am, I'm just feeling like it is just my body keeping me alive because I had like a recent sexual trauma happen where I'm feeling like how I felt when I went through postpartum, almost like my autonomy over my body is gone and it made me have to focus on my body as just a functional like being versus
Mhm,
being sexual. I don't feel sexual right now. I can't
mhm.
even think about being touched by other people in a sexual or romantic way. But there is some beauty in that because I don't obsess over it. It's just when I get up in the morning, I just like it's just something that holds me up. Like it's a spiritual vessel versus being a sexualized object, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. And thank you for opening up about the sexual trauma because so many of my listeners can relate. And I think too, that's important as women because we're so, especially as Black skin women, we're so hypersexualized and it's so, there's just this specific pinpoint on our bodies. So I love that you're experiencing it just like, oh, my body's just a vessel. It'll thankfully get me to point A to B, and that's it. Hopefully I can fuck, get some sleep tonight. Like that's just what your body needs to do. And I think there's a real like kind of balance when you can just go to that. You don't even have to sexualize yourself. And come to think about it, I asked myself, bitch, when was the last time you didn't sexualize yourself in your body? And it's been a minute.
It was before this happened, it had been forever. Like it had been since postpartum 5 years ago. Like so when you're forced to give up your autonomy, of course, when you're breastfeeding and all this stuff and you can't feel sexual, you really have to think about health wise. Like you have
Mhm.
to it's just like you're beaten down to the bare of what your body is. It's not all these things society told us it is. It's literally keeping us alive. And so many days I have to be grateful for her. I'm just like, damn, bitch, you
You're
got
like,
you
what?
still going. Like I love you. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and you talk about postpartum. Oh, I want to get into your motherhood and all that. But can you tell me like what you love most about your body? Like, and two, I look at something body neutrality, which is like, yeah, it has nothing to do with looks and what it does or how I feel, but like what do you love that your body does for you like right now? Because it is a you're in a sensitive time. And has there been a way you've been able to show yourself and your body gratitude through this like in between space right now?
So I will say physically, I love my titties. I always will. Like
Love it.
spiritually, I love my body's intuition because my body feels so many things. My gut tells me things. Like I hold trauma in my body, unfortunately, but like she's so sensitive to things that like I can feel when something's wrong. I can feel when I meet up with someone and this is weird. She she like even if I get high, she starts to like it's not just my mind, my whole body holds feeling and like
Yeah.
I don't know, she is just so awakened. I love that about her. Like she is not playing about me. She will not let me be in a weird situation. She's so resilient. She continues to
Mhm.
keep going. Of all the things that I've been through, I don't have like I feel blessed to say that I don't have serious health issues. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I should be doing more with her. Like I she shuts down when I know that like I'm not doing enough, I'm not exercising enough, going places. She will shut down real quick before it gets too bad and let me know, no, you got to start doing stuff. Yeah, I love
I
that.
love that. I love that, Brie. And the key word, listener, when you're saying intuition, because I feel you in that. It's literally, and people that be like, I don't, intuition, intuitive eating. Like, I'm literally like, how can you not hear what your body tells you? My heart and I empathize with so many listeners who are like just disconnected from that mind body, but your body literally talks to you. And even I feel like as we get older as women, hearing like the warning signs and like what feels stressful. Okay, the siren's going on, y'all. The window's open. It is hot
Oh,
in the
it's you?
apartment. It's so me.
Oh, duh, I never hear him over here. It is you.
It's definitely me. And my window's open because the fucking radiator's so hot. I gotta breathe. But
It's very, it's low. It's low.
okay, thank you, thank you. To hear your body and for it to give you clues, that's the first like contact and like when you're in danger. Like so when you're in danger or when you feel any type of uneasiness, your body is sending you cues. So I think that's so important that you're just in thankfulness that your body still works for you and it can still
Mhm.
take care of you because I'm thinking like wow, even in a day I'm like I get through so much and I don't think for a second, oh my body just does it. It tells me to go to the bathroom. It tells me to like well, it just talks to me and speaks to me and I really want all women to be that in tune, that in touch with your body, especially and specifically when we go through trauma. There's like that great book and I don't have to fucking read it, but it is The Body Keeps the Score. And even like childhood trauma, even friendship, any type of like the sensations, your body remembers.
Remembers. And speaking of trauma, because you know when I bumped my head, I got that concussion.
Yeah.
I I was so disfigured, and my doctor was like, "You could have died. Like you should have died. This was so impactful." I never, when I saw how bad my face was, I never thought I would look normal again. I did not think, and, I still have the bruising or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's how it's cool
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
me.
I
Um,
know. Wait, and can you tell my listeners, Brie, you had a fall and you had to take time out of volleyball. This other thing impacted you. And I got you some African shea butter. Listener, she is
yes.
healing our black that's genetics, but also I'm so glad you're healing and your body is just taking care of you.
First of all, shout out to you because I went to Texas with that butter because I am obsessed. That butter is so amazing. One little scoop does so much. I went to Texas. My mom scooped half of it out. She was like, "You can get more." She scooped half of it out
Yeah,
and put it in a
lather
container.
it.
No, she put it in a container and took it. She
Ah!
said, "Oh no, you can get more of this. This is amazing."
Amazing.
Took it out and but yes, I put it on. My co-parent will put it on me.
Yeah.
I just kept it on, but I no one could have made me believe that my face would go back to normal. Like just it's dark, but I thought it would be disfigured for it. My face was messed up. Yeah. The weekend before Halloween, I went out, and this is why alcohol is not good because I wasn't even drunk, but I was
Mhm.
drinking enough to where my intuition, my
Mhm.
senses, my heightened everything was gone. So when you're drinking, of course, if you get in an accident, if you have a fall, you're more limber,
Mhm.
but you're not alert. So my body was not alert. I fell, and where I would have normally caught myself, stumbled, I just slipped on a curb. I slipped
Yeah.
on a bump. I think some guy passed me, shifted my balance.
Mhm.
I tripped, stumbled, and just rocked the side of a curb. I just happened to hit it right at the corner and it took me out. I mean, like people stopped and were like, "Oh my God." Like it was so
Didn't I
bad.
call you that morning? I said, Brie, go. I didn't want to scare you, but I was like, you need to go just
It
to go see a doctor. I said,
wasn't in
go.
the morning. It was like it was 3 days later because I stayed in pain. I didn't tell anyone for a couple of days. I was just
Yeah.
so embarrassed of my face. And the day I called you and I was in so much pain I couldn't sleep,
Mhm.
you were like, "You need to go to the hospital." And you were absolutely right. I needed to go because I had a full-blown concussion and internal bleeding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's just clap and give a thank you to our bodies for fucking healing themselves.
Okay.
And being black women, like the outer match, the natural, just super, just the human power and ability. And it really is on something like, thank God my body can heal itself because so much trauma happens. Like we're living in such a crazy time where accidents are going to happen. And I love that you were able to like rework through the shame. And like, it's so tough too when like it's facial or it's any type of damage. Like, I got bit by a dog and it's like, now I don't want to show my arm. It's like, you have to get over it because your body's going to heal. And I think once you're in acceptance, that also gives your body permission to heal and take care of you. Like, this happened,
Agree.
right? You have to really just be in acceptance because we're human. I think we all play a role. And sometimes it's so hard to look at the role, especially like when you're hurting your body. Like when I'm not feeling good and when I want to starve myself, I have to really be like, bitch, why do you want to hurt your body that takes care of you?
Hmm. And
Yeah.
it's also true, like when you have trauma or or for me at least, or you're depressed, you get sick. You actually not just getting sick from like people who are contagious, you literally get sick when you are traumatized, depressed, and not caring for yourself. You can stay sick.
Hmm.
I was so sick when I was in Texas. I was so traumatized going through it. I got sick 4 times. Ended up having to go to the hospital because I was sick 4 times for 5 days each time. I was
Oh,
in bed for 5 days straight, 4 different times. And just this time I went to Texas.
oh
Like
my
I was
gosh.
sick, fever. My mom was like, you need to go to therapy. Like you're keeping yourself sick. And she's
Hmm.
right, because I feel better.
You knew better. And shout out to our moms. Wait, that's really, really good. And we know what's your mom's name? What? This is my favorite question to ask listeners or guests because, and two, you're a mom, but what is something that your mom taught you about your body? And you know, too, as a mother of daughters, kids pick up so much. And like growing up, I do remember just like my mom, how she felt in her body, what she did, just what was her relationship like to her body? Because that set the tone. What did your mom teach you about your body, if anything?
So first, my mom's name is Teresa. Like
Hi,
our last name,
Teresa.
I
Shout
love
out.
my mom. We call her Mother Teresa because her last name is Nunn, so it's funny. But anyways, she's so holy. She's so sweet. My mom taught me absolutely nothing about my body. It she it was the generation where like you just don't talk about it. Like you don't talk about your bodies. You don't talk about sex. You just don't do it. You just figure it out. Like I feel like that church, not all church women, but that church generation that she was in from the South, you just didn't. I wasn't taught how to wash my body, care for my body properly. I just know when I got sick and stuff, she took care of me. She either did it all for me or like I just figured stuff out. Like I didn't learn anything about my body until adulthood when I started asking questions.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That and it's not crazy. It's not crazy because that's just what they were taught. And then we could totally get into it, the women of church. Because yeah, you're not gonna my mom wasn't telling me about sex and how my vagina worked, but it was like, and my grandma, like, this is how you clean your vagina, this is how you do, and your period comes, but no other thing about like hormones or PMS or like I remember I had friends that they get their periods and they'd be like bedridden, bed sick. And I never like thought to
I
ask why.
know.
Right. And as girls, we just never, it's just the thing that's just because we're girls. It's just a
It's just
thing.
girls. Yeah.
So it's so interesting and fascinating. And as a mother, Bree, what is something you hope to teach your daughters about their body?
You know what? And just talking about this is making me think about how the fact that my 11-year-old, who's already going through puberty and all that, I haven't sat down and really talked to her about it either, because she was like a kid straight to like almost teens now, and it's like I don't know. You would just think she'd ask, but no, I probably should sit down and actually have those tough conversations. Say, this is how you do this, and this is what this means. I did buy her a book. I bought her all type of books. Where like little cute comics that like talk to you about it, and I read it. She read it, and I was like, "Do you have any questions? Do you want to talk about anything?" She was like, "No." So it's kind of uncomfortable when they don't want to talk about it, and you're
Yeah.
like trying to talk to them about it. So I guess you just think that as they grow, they'll learn. But talking to you about this makes me realize no, because there's so many things when I was getting older that I thought I was just gross for going through. No one talked about it. You think you're all alone in this, but vaginas just do what vaginas do. So yeah,
Mhm.
I absolutely should be talking to her about it.
That's beautiful, Brie. That's beautiful. And I think it helps us as women. I feel like you have to start the dialogue because it's still like we have internet, everyone's talking, but no, people still aren't talking. There's still so much shame and so much stigma. And I just think that getting curious about your own body, that just helps open the door for like, how to have a relationship with your body because our bodies change so much. I'm reading this book and it's all about hormones and this and that, but literally you think like from young girls, we get our period, then by 12, then it's like then we're in adulthood, then there's so many drastic changes. You kind of just don't have time to keep up with your body. So then, yeah, you're like, oh shit, I'm 35 and I haven't talked about my uterus or my asshole or my titties and or a mole. And that to me is crazy. So we're doing good. We're talking about it and we're bringing awareness.
That's why I said we need to start going to the doctors with each other. Like, we'll bring our raggedy ass partners with us to the doctor, and they don't know shit about an OBGYN. This black doctor, black female doctor, was saying, bring your girlfriends to OBGYN appointments when you're having your babies, when you're going to, like, you just going to the doctor and you tell me about getting your allergy test. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like these are things we want to know about, hear about, so that other girls or even talk to your friends about your visit so they can know what to expect, what else they should be doing. I don't know the names of any of these tests that I'm watching my mom struggle with her health, and now I'm learning what this test is, what this injection is, that test that clamps your titty. I was like, Mama,
Yeah.
you got your titty clamp? She's like, Yep, you gotta get your
Yep.
titty clamp and check for cancer. And I'm like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, like there's not enough movies about growing old as women. And we don't know what the hell we're supposed to be doing if we're not talking about it.
We don't know. And then too, like if we're getting there's no research done. All the research is fucking done on men. And then they think it applies to us when we have a
Yes.
whole fucking girl.
Yeah.
Like it's so aggravating. And yeah, I told my listeners on the last show, I did the dermatologist and I did an allergy test. And yeah, if you've never been to the dermatologist office, you get naked, you get in a cloth. And what I did like is that they bring three women. And I do like that I think OBGYN it's two, but I low-key like the three. Like you have I like the three, and then they ask, so they look at it's like a full body scan. They're looking just at your whole skin and like just your naked body. And I didn't know that. So now I'm telling all my friends, oh, make sure you just go to the dermatologist, do a checkup. And you're right. Bring your friends with you, but just tell your girlfriends what you're doing because no one knows.
No, we don't. Yeah.
No one
We're
knows.
learning now.
Now we're learning. Growing up, what was your relationship like with your body and food? Did you have any struggles accepting yourself? You said you grew up in Texas. What was your upbringing kind of like? And I know you have brothers and sisters. So what was your upbringing like in your body and growing up in Texas?
So first, I've never really had any weird relation to food. I've always been very, very picky. And as I got older, I never really liked quote unquote black food or like our food. But as I got older, I realized I don't really like meat like that. So even my daughter too, as I started to get older into adulthood and started being vegan and vegetarian, I was like, okay, I like a lot more of a variety of food. I feel like soul food, especially in the South, is very greasy, fried. I've never been a fan.
No.
So maybe I was looking for healthier options. My
Hmm.
relation to my body, it took me all the way until after college to love my body. And looking back at it, before I had kids, I had like perfect titties. So it's mainly because black girls are not allowed to be little girls. We're adultified and sexualized from a young age. My biggest bullies who taught me how to hate myself was cousins and brothers. The black boys, the black men terrorized me with my body because I had quote unquote no booty. And really I had like a butt, but if
Come
you're not
on.
shaped
Yeah.
like Nicki Minaj, and
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're brown skin or darker, they do not want you to exist. So like I was always made fun of for my body. Like all the way up into my big adult job at the post office, people would comment on my body every day, and I've always hated being skinny. Like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never been a girl who's ever like being thin. I've always wanted to be thick as shit. Like I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
I have
Yeah.
never liked being thin since I can remember. My weight now is probably the most happiest I've been with my body, and which is crazy because now I can't even sexualize it or love on myself. But I've never liked my body until sadly, one time I was having sex with a guy, one of my like close guy friends, and we were like hooking up, and he was like,
Mhm.
"Your body is like beautiful," and I was like, "What?" And he was rude as shit. So like I was like, he would never just say that. And
Yeah.
from that day on, like you couldn't tell me nothing.
Nothing.
Like I was like, wait, my body is actually okay. And then
Right.
what women don't realize, like I see my daughter, she's 11, comparing herself to grown ass Instagram women, wishing she had these bodies. And I'm like, what girls don't realize, and of course boys don't give a fuck about, is that we don't grow into our bodies until like after 26. Like we
Speak
don't
on it. Speak
fully
on it.
grow into it. And I remember Kendall Jen, or what's that girl name? The
Kylie
one
Kendall, one of the
Kylie.
hoes. Uh-huh, Kylie.
Kylie, she was talking about how she hates that she just like did all these surgeries at 19. That was the age where if I had had money, I would have gotten every surgery. I would have looked like Nicki Minaj. I was
Yeah.
ridiculed. I couldn't even walk into when I went to college and everyone was black, I couldn't even walk into spaces without my body being the subject. Like
Oh
they used
my
to
God.
talk about how flat I am. I was just like the butt of every joke all of the time. So it took me until after college
Mhm.
like 22-ish, 23 to really like be like, oh, okay, my body's fine. Like it's okay, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So now, especially as I'm older, 30, like my early 30s, I'm loving my body. I like how she looks. I don't care if I get a little thin, but no, I do. I do care if I do get too small. And I can tell how people treat me when I'm thinner. People are so much nicer when I'm thicker. Like, I mean, it's a
That,
stark difference.
oh
Yeah.
my God. No, no, no. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so funny because I because growing up, like it was never like I want to be thick. I grew up in a very like white suburbia place, so like thick was the last option for my mindset. But like I love you so much, and I think about me. I'm like, oh, I'd want to be skinny. Like, no, I'd want I is as women, it's so much like I want Bree's body. I'm like, no, I would want that. Bree has some flatboard abs, some nice perky titties, and your butt is not even flat. Listeners, it's a butt. So it's so funny how we as women, we want what others have, but it's like, oh my God, it's such a conundrum. It's such a conundrum. And isn't it crazy? I love that you said that guy said you had a hot smoking body, but it really takes as women to have like an out of body experience for it could be like a woman, a girl, or a guy to say something. And then you literally kind of, your perception changes.
It was the first time I had ever heard anyone say something nice about my body in my entire 20, what, 1 years? I think it was 21. 21 years for someone. It wasn't just a guy. Like I would have girlfriends all the time being like, yeah, you flat, don't wear that. Like, my
Yeah.
best friend in college used to call me flat back. That's what she always. And my butt, when I look back, my butt was never that small. It was
Oh my,
never, it was not on no Taylor Swift shit at all. It was like,
no.
course, it's a little bit rounder now
Yeah.
because I gained weight, but it was never small. So yeah, it took him saying that for my whole perception. And now people say it all the time. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. But I'm actually at a point where like I would prefer people not comment on people's bodies at all. Nothing.
Then
Good or
now
bad.
let's be, ooh, because I mean, it's one, it's so triggering, but like, no, just shit stays with you. Shit stays with you. I remember it was so big, Robin Big back in the day, and people would call me big, like Big Black. And that's why I wanted to like shrink and be so small. And words just care. It takes a lot of work to like unprogram yourself from all the shit you've been told by like family members, by media, by the school people. So to do that work, it takes a lot. So I'm very proud of you. But also, I think it's just, it's motivating. Like, you can change like the way you think about yourself and your body. You can. And like, Brie, I feel like in your 20s, you go through another puberty. Like, let's talk about it. Your body literally,
Yes.
I feel like it's like that post 25, 26, your body, and they're not telling girls this. I'm like, see, growing up, it was kind of like, well, no, you'll have kids at 25 and then the kids will pop out your hips. No, listeners,
No.
if you're a young girl, your body is going to change dramatically mid late 20s. It's going to change whether you like it or not. And then maybe make a choice if you want to do something. But it's like we haven't even fully grown. So for us to like play God and do this or that, you don't know the long-term side effects. And why would you when you're not even fully cooked? You're not even fully bestowed onto what God wants you to be.
Because I had Zuri at 19 and I was playing volleyball up until 7, 8 months pregnant. Like, I mean, and when I had her, no hips, no, it didn't do it. All it did was take my breath away. Like, women don't know that when you have babies, your breasts go into tea bags. Like, they look they look like water balloons that just go like this,
The drop.
and they
Yeah.
sag. They never go back to normal. Like even like Kiki Palmer's how she got bigger and voluptuous, but without a
Mm-hmm.
bra, they just drop. And then when you breastfeed, they just. I
Wow.
remember crying in the mirror and telling my mom, "Why did you not tell me this?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, that happens, girl. You want to be grown and go have a baby at
Yeah.
19." And my body just went right back to normal. I didn't get hips, nothing. So I didn't develop until late 20s. Like children don't do anything until you get older. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And it just don't I get the power of the body, the power of the female body. And then you produce children. You produce children. So can I ask like what was like was there a big shift post birth? Like what was it like after giving birth? And then wait, I want to be what was it like experiencing pregnancy, like carrying something? Because I'm so like, and we know right now in this country, we're dealing with a severe fucking mortality rate with Black women having babies in this country. It's devastating. They're killing us in the hospitals. But what was your experience? So when I see a Black woman, a Black pregnant woman, it is literally it's a walking miracle. Like I just marvel at it. I amaze at it because this Black woman is creating life, and whatever the outcome is, it's so important what she's doing right now. And I just it's a beautiful experience, and it's so sad the number and statistics that's happening in our country. What was it like to carry a child, and what did you experience?
So both pregnancies like 9 day. So Zuri, I had her 19, so it was like nothing. I had no pains. I didn't know I was pregnant until like 4.5 months. I found out I was pregnant, having a girl, and 4 months along, all in the same day. I was sick for weeks. I was going to the hospital. I was going to the doctor undetected. My mom took me to the doctor because she was like, "You better not be pregnant." We went to the hospital. We went to a checkup afterwards. Nothing. 4 months in, and so when I found out I was pregnant and they showed me like the sonogram, it was a whole baby. Like we were like, I was flat. My stomach was flat. I mean, flat.
My
So it took a long
gosh.
time. And I only remember being big about 2 months, like maybe
Mhm.
6 to 9 months, maybe seven to
Okay.
9.5 months. And then snap back like it was nothing. Zuri, nothing. The trauma came with dealing with my first baby daddy. That's it.
Hmm.
Then Juju, I had her at 26 and horrific. I mean, it was so bad. My back hurt so bad. Like my
Hmm.
hormones, it was so sensitive and awful. Like I was so
Hmm.
upset having to bend over, do anything. It was so
Hmm.
excruciating. And then end up having to have her early because my placenta wasn't growing. And my postpartum with her was horrific. I mean, like
Hmm.
brain altering, like suicidal, tried to kill myself, had to have my stomach pumped, like my brain altered. People do not realize what you go through when you become pregnant. There's women who go blind. I mean, I'm not kidding. They go blind,
Hmm.
all their hair falls out. It's a parasite inside your body,
Yeah.
stealing nutrients from you. Like,
Yes.
yes, my
Yes.
second baby was awful. It was so awful. Like not my baby, but my second pregnancy.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. My second pregnancy was awful. I luckily my co-parent who was not emotionally supportive to me was such a great dad. Like I never had to change a diaper or anything. I just had to take care of myself, which I couldn't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, pregnancy is a wild ride. I commend all surrogates because it is you are risking your life having these children and bringing them in. Like delivering babies is a miracle, like you said.
Yeah, and and two, it's like a business. We're Americans, and like you hear everywhere else. One, you hear the price, one fucking first and foremost to have a child, but then two, it's like America's so fucking ass backwards. Like the cost of it all, but it's really the care. And I have a girlfriend who's a chef, and she's literally like working with the White House to try to still get parents to have paid maternity leave. They don't even they want corporate America to go have a baby, and then they want your ass back at work in a week or two. That
I had Zuri and went back to work in 4 weeks. Yeah. That
oh
and
my,
that's insane.
that's
Like,
crazy.
mhm.
That is crazy. What was one lesson, one takeaway, one piece of advice you could give any woman going through birth? If you could what's one thing you would tell people? Let's say two things. Like you would really,
I'll say two things because the one thing I'll say is don't have kids. And this economy in this world, if you are not pregnant yet and you're a woman, as a mom of two children who I love,
yeah,
do not have children. It is like you're bringing them into a world, especially as a Black woman, to people who absolutely hate them, want them dead. It is the
yeah,
scariest, most anxious feeling, and it's the most guilt-ridden feeling because you will never be able to protect them, especially girls. And I am so thankful for my babies, but I am so angry that I brought them into this bullshit. Like the
yeah,
pricing, the trauma, just if you don't have kids, do your research because
yeah,
it is I would not encourage anyone to have kids. Anyone's humans need to stop reproducing. We're already fucking up the earth. If we
girl.
were smart, we'd all walk hand in hand to the fire. Number two, if you are already pregnant, babies are a miracle. Bring as many Black babies you can into this world. If
Mhm.
you are already planning, if this is what you want to do, get Black doctors around you. And if you get a Black doctor or a Black nurse or a Black doula, Black midwife, and
Mhm.
she's not great, don't keep her because she's Black. There are some Black women who have even less remorse for you because you are Black and they're Black, and
Say it. Yep.
they
Yep.
think that we should just be able to be super women. But get if you can get a Black doctor that has recommendations, and if you can't, look up whoever doctor you get, look up reviews, do your
Mhm.
research, and ask questions. If something isn't right, if you don't think you should have this C-section, advocate for yourself. Doctors are not always right. Just like I say, therapists are not always right. Like people are being educated in a world meant for white people. So you
Yep.
have to advocate for your body. Everyone's body
Yeah.
is different, specifically Black women. So advocate for yourself. Bring a friend who will advocate for you like you know you would never
Mhm.
for yourself, because Black women advocate for others more than they do themselves. And be very smart about the person you're with. If you're pregnant right now, I work in DV, abuse
Domestic
happens,
violence.
domestic violence and abuse happens the worst right after you have a baby. If there are any red flags, warning signs, get out before you deliver this baby because it will be much worse after you have this baby. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I am giving you the very real reality of what our lives look like after we have children. You can never imagine what you will go through once you bring a child into this world that you can no longer protect.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And I thank you for just being candid and being very, very honest. Which again, like women need that. Women need that. And working in childcare a bit, I'm really seeing it takes a village. That shit is not a fucking saying. It is really like, okay, if you are bringing a child into the world, what I've seen is like, who is your fucking crew? Who is your
crew,
crew? Like
not one or
crew,
two,
crew.
crew, not just your co-parent, even if you have a good ass partner, a village. We were never meant, we were supposed to be back in the day where like when you have a baby, it's everyone's baby. Some people back in the day they didn't even know who the daddy was. It was like we were all parents of these
Yeah.
kids. And
And
I'm luckily had that village in Texas. It's life changing. Yeah.
yeah, and two, even it just like I feel like growing up a bit, like and you grew up in suburbia too, like it was a sense
Yeah.
of like, oh, like the kids in the neighborhood in the cul-de-sac, like you all kind of looked out for each other or the parent. And it's kind I know I reminisce, but it's kind of sad because that's totally gone in America. It is
COVID
totally
killed
gone
it, individualism killed it, and it's the best structure for our government because they can just keep pumping us. If
and
we don't
keep us
come into this
separate. Keep us
community,
separate.
they'll keep us
Yep.
pumping
Keep us.
out of just each individual pocket. If we build our communities back, then we have a chance to fight against the government. We can have our own food, our own childcare.
Yeah.
That's why they tax everything because they don't want that shit for us. So yeah, get a village. Bree's absolutely right. Get a village.
A village, get a village. What is or at what age did you learn how to love your body? Like was there like a aha pivot moment or like was there like a very low moment where and it's okay if you aren't even there yet because honestly most people don't and some days they don't, but was there like a moment where it was like and I really love my body and I'm so appreciative to
It started when I stopped thinking of my body like what society thinks of it as. When I just start, it was never an aha moment. It was gradual, and it just felt like me. When I stopped looking in a mirror, like right now, I don't even have a full length mirror in my house. When I stopped criticizing every small bit that people are not even looking at. Like
Yeah.
it took me being a higher version of myself. Wait, are you still there?
I'm still here. Yeah. Can you hear
What
me?
happened? Yeah, something popped up.
No.
What is this? I'm sorry,
It's
but something
okay.
just popped up on my screen. It took me being a higher version of myself and really just sitting with me. It was not just about my body, it was about my entire, like the collectiveness of Brie and how I felt about her at the core.
Mhm.
And once I just accepted her at the core, it was like, you ain't about to tell me shit. I don't care if you don't like it, you don't like it, somebody love it, somebody gonna eat my ass, somebody's gonna like every part of me. So
Mm-hmm.
it took me just not caring enough and caring a lot about like who I really am outside of like
Yeah.
what my body is. And then all that other stuff didn't matter. Like I don't be caring. I'll wear anything. I walk out of this house like whatever, and just I've just accepted it all.
That's good. That's incredible. And I never thought about it gradually. And that's going to help some people because for some, it's not like an overnight thing. It's not an aha moment. It really might be like gradually for the next 10 years, the next 5 months. And yeah, kind of like something falls off and you just like wear yourself better because you know yourself, like internally, externally. And then two, you just don't give a flying fuck. Like that, I think just comes with age. And I hope all women, all young girls to just age and get older because then you get to know yourself and your body.
I know, and I'm really sad for our youth because there's so much of social media that we didn't have. And I'm realizing now, I was talking to my mom about this week. I started loving myself once I got out of school because you go to school with people you're forced to be around. You can't choose
Yes.
your
Yes.
community. So you don't have any autonomy over your body. You're just going to school with people who give you who tell you who you are, and then you go home.
Mhm.
You can have all this love from your parents, but it's not the same as 20 kids looking at you being like, hate black women, hate your body, hate all these things. And it took me
Mhm.
leaving college and being around these people I was forced to be around with to start. I ain't got to go around just if I want to. I can create a safe space around me of people who don't care about that shit. So then I'm not hearing
Yes.
about how my body looks all the time because my community is safe. It takes that as well. Unfortunately, we can preach all day about self love to these kids, but if everyone around you hates you, it's not going to matter.
Girl. And isn't it crazy too, just the access that they have? And too, well, just for all of us, like we're not supposed to have all this information at all the time and all the time in all the world, like just to just scroll to intake. And I think too, what is that doing to my brain chemistry? And to think like if I hadn't like done a lot of the work, the self love, letting go of the self hatred, who would I be if I was just like a doom scroller? Like I would fucking hate myself and I would hate the way I'd look. And should I probably be bleaching my skin? Like, I mean, the messaging and the propaganda is just so loud now. So I know I empathize for our kids. And if I had a kid, no, they would not have a phone until they were 17, till they were close to adulthood. Cause this is adult shit. Like we're giving
That
kids like this, like it's, the phones and the iPads, like it's a game. This is going to have a very long term. We don't know the long term effects. Like Brie, we'll see it in like 20 years, maybe. We will
and it's
see.
them. It started with them because they had it since birth. We will see.
Crazy,
It's
crazy,
sad.
crazy, crazy. Do you like to cook? What does your morning like breakfast routine look like? Are you a morning breakfast person?
I
Do
saw
you
that
eat?
question. Go ahead.
Do
Go
you
ahead.
eat breakfast?
So I laugh because I'm the type of person who I don't eat until like 1. Like I'm at work, I get off at 2. Sometimes I don't eat until like maybe 12, but I eat breakfast all day. I can eat breakfast is my favorite meal.
I love
I
it.
can cook breakfast all day. I think I made my food today at 12 at noon.
Mhm.
And that's because we had a like 2-hour meeting and it was like you can go to the meeting or not. And so I was just like, let me go cook. I'm just so busy and like in tune with my job. I work from what 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. That like during lunch, I go to on my lunches, I get high and go walk the whole 45-minute lunch and listen to Black Girl Can Cook. Every time it comes out, that's what I do on my lunch. Or I go back to sleep because I've been up. So I probably don't
Mhm.
eat until later. I love to eat breakfast all day. Since coming back to New York, I had steak a few times. I
Okay.
hesitated and got salmon because talking to you and your situation.
Yeah.
But I usually
Seafood.
just cook lots and lots of veggies and vegan food mostly.
I love that. And tell me, what was your journey like about being a vegan and veganism? And you did say earlier, like your body, you're not like a meat person. You craved more of like food,
Food,
substance, more food and
sustenance.
substance. So like, when did you start becoming a vegan? What made you curious? What was that like?
I was I had a roommate at the time who was vegan and she was like die hard vegan, like didn't give a fuck about Black lives, but what she did care about was animals. She loved animals and she explained to me
Hmm.
the 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 correlation between food in your stomach. Like if you, she's like, you should not be sick when you're preparing food. You should be preparing food that smells good, is good to you. She's like, so if you can't go outside and kill an animal, chop it up, you shouldn't be eating it. And like that stuck with me. And how agriculture is basically killing the world. If you look it up, it is like the meat district is the worst thing happening to this
Hell
earth.
on earth. Hell on.
Yeah,
And bitch, is it even meat? Do we even know if it's cow meat? If it's even chick? And
so
wasn't it like a
processed.
couple of years ago when it was like the slaughterhouses? And after that, I'm like, well, it's America, so everyone's fucked. It's
Yeah,
happening
it's bad.
everywhere. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And the
Yeah, so
correlation. Yeah, that's fascinating
yeah,
though.
and
Uh-huh.
so she started preparing. She used to prepare all types of meals. It smelled so good. And then when I started realizing that I didn't start liking like veggies until like 25. I would just eat the same five foods. Like I would eat a burger or a hot dog, the same five foods because I was so just picky and I just didn't
Yeah.
like overly greasy things. So as she prepared it more and I smelled it and played around with spices, now I enjoy cooking. Like and
Hmm.
I stopped being vegan. I was vegan for 2 years, but then I was with the kid's dad. So I'm cooking them a separate meal, him a separate meal, and me a separate meal 3 times a day. It was insane. So I gave up on vegan, but now that I'm in New York, I'm returning back to like, but again, I'll still eat just because it's cheaper. It's a lot of cooking to eat vegan. You have to cook a lot of different things to put it together.
A lot, but I wonder like your system must be good. Like it really is like
So
listeners, they're saying not to be like woo, but it's really like if to get healthy or to get in line with just your body and your chemistry, it really is just like cutting out processed sugar, cutting out all processed food. Bitch, if it's coming in a bag or a box, do not. Or what do they say?
go
Like
to
at
your
the
farmer's market. Yeah.
yeah, or and what do they say? Like even at a grocery store, like stick to don't go to the aisle, stick to the outskirts, like your meats, your produce, and your fruits and veggies. But that's so fascinating. And that makes me curious because I'm like not a picky eater, but I definitely am 29 and I want more veggies on my plate just so I can be more colorful. It's funny, as
Okay.
we get older and being New Yorkers, I don't want my food to feel like it's making me sick, but now I'm kind of like, I'm more conscious of like, what am I eating? And wait, that actually might make you not sick, but yeah, I realized like I cannot go to Chipotle. That shit is so much sodium. I like swole up like a summer ago. I have not touched Chipotle since like 2022. Just because it just didn't like, I think I took like 2 weeks of like not eating anything processed. I was up in Connecticut just eating like normal whole foods. And I came back from one week and had Chipotle and just the way it reacted to my system, it just, everything felt swollen and it was like a sodium rush. And I just did not feel good. And I think it's
That's what
important
we're
just
in all the time. That's what we're doing all the
that
time.
Liz, we're literally doing that all the time. Currently, where I live, I can say it's literally a food desert because there's Whole Foods and like a grocery store on my corner. Other than that, it's just processed, fried, and cheap. And I think it just takes a second to be intentional. And that's what I'm really trying to be in like the next couple months and then in this year, just really be intentional with what I'm eating. So like you've inspired me to maybe not be just go to a vegan restaurant to try and to be more curious because I agree. I don't feel like I'm picky, but the burgers, the pizza, the Chinese, it's not working and it's not making me
Mm-mm,
sick, but I don't want it to keep making me feel how I feel.
mm-mm. Just try playing with different recipes. It, the one thing I like about TikTok, they'll show you recipes quick. Like I get overwhelmed cooking. I hate
Yeah.
cooking. I don't like domestic work. Okay, I was not meant to be a wife. I'm just not. So when I see a TikTok recipe and it's like, you can do this quick and chop it up and you can have
Hmm.
those veggies all week. have fun. Like I want to have fun when I'm cooking. I want to be high in the kitchen. Yeah, just have a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That like makes me, that motivates me. That inspires me a bit. Who did anyone inspire you to like get in the kitchen and cook? Like, or you just cooked? Like, was motherhood like the forcing thing of like, oh, I have to like now because I'm feeding these babies? Was that it? Because what was because
Yeah,
to me too, like I love my mom and I love my upbringing, but I still was like, nah, bitch, I don't want to be in the kitchen helping you serve these men. No, no. And then
that's
bring my dad the
mhm.
plate. My mom would literally Sunday dinner, Monday night dinner, cooking and slaving away. Then she'd say, "Oh, go bring your dad his plate if he's watching the game or something on the couch." That shit just I
Yeah.
couldn't because in my soul, I'm like, he can't even walk to the no, 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 no.
Mm.
So I'm so like, I'm not anti kitchen, but it is hard to like cook and be in there. What inspired you to get in the kitchen or whom?
Great. That's exactly my experience. Like I couldn't stand the sexism. I hated feeling, I didn't like domestic work because it felt like slavery. It felt like I, as a woman, had to do these things that you didn't as this man. Like I got, even
Hmm.
though Mike, my co-parent, wasn't terrible, it was like, you never thought that you had to cook. It's just like you just knew I would have it. Like I would just be the one to,
Hmm.
or he had no problem buying food out to eat every day. No, I don't want us to eat out all the time.
No,
So
yeah.
it I when I moved to New York, so my mom definitely inspired me because I thought that she just was like, when people be cooking like that, I'm like, you're a fucking wizard. And just enjoy it and have no problem. My mom can
Yeah.
cook nightly. She's like a goddamn like savior. Like,
Hmm.
so when I got to New York and realized I could not afford to eat out, yeah, I had to start
Yeah.
cooking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and now not having the kids and the kids being in Texas for this year, it's fun because it's just me and I can just play with something and be done. No one's gonna complain they don't like this. No one's gonna not eat it and make you want to slap the shit out of them. It's just me,
Hmm.
child.
Hmm. Now, listening to your show, you had a great couple guests on, but you were talking about your relationship with alcohol. And so I wanted to ask, like, are you drinking? Do you have a favorite mocktail? I think for me personally, alcohol, I'm off of it just because it doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. I think I've lived on my own for like the last like 6, 7 months and like, oh bitch, we're alone. We're getting prosecco, we're getting wine. I live alone. I got a fridge. But alcohol stays on your body. The way like alcohol listeners, it just I'm working off the alcohol weight. So I'm just off of it because of how it makes me feel, the side effects. And two, really, Brie, like dead ass, like over Christmas break and like Thanksgiving break, alcohol, like the next day, it'll go through. I get the runs, I get the shits. And I don't know that just maybe God and my chemistry, but it's really like, okay, it's toxic, it's poisoning you. And then now when it's leaving your body, it's just a tummy troubles and toilet troubles. So I'm off of it and it's okay because we live in New York City. So there's tons of mocktail menus. And hey, I'll do a Shirley Temple.
Ooh,
But where are you at? And listeners, please follow her podcast, Breathe the Black Sheep, and listen to the last couple because I love how honest and just true you were because that's something else. Like women can be alcoholics, women can have our struggles, and alcohol, especially as we're leaving our 20s, in our 30s, like we want more a foundation. And a lot of times alcohol is not in that foundation anymore.
agree. First, you inspired me as well because you're so vulnerable. I am honest, right? I am always honest, real, give you the reality of things, but you are vulnerable, and I struggle with vulnerability a lot.
Mhm.
Transparency and vulnerability, not the same thing. So you inspire me all the time to like when
Thank
I'm like, should
you.
I say this? And I press pause and I'm like, fuck it, Brie was saying like you, I swear to God, you inspire me. Um, when I went through that sexual assault, like I went home over the Thanksgiving break, I drank for 30 straight days. I have never drank longer than like just a weekend. I have never drank for even 7 days straight, even 5 days straight. Unless I went to like Vegas or something, we
Hmm.
partied, but still not like alcoholic type shit.
Yeah.
And no shade. I'm just giving
Hmm.
just saying my experience. I drank for 30 straight days, and when I tell you it changed the way I looked, my face got heavier. I remember when I went home and me and my brother don't have the best relationship, but I was telling my mom, Dre looks better because the last time I was here, Dre looked terrible. He looked old as shit. His face was puffy. Why he looked like that? But I never said anything. But then when I went back this time, he looked like he took 10 years off. She's like, oh, he broke. He can't drink no more. I was like, oh my God. Not broke, but they had another baby. So it's like he can't just drink like he wants
Yeah.
to. So he has to like actually care about his money. Like he has a great job.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh my God, and just kept that in the back of my mind. I was like, oh my God, he looks great. So then I
Yeah.
drank for those 30 days. I looked awful. I could see
Mhm.
like my chin got like heavier in my pictures, like
Mhm.
my face got bigger, like it 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 stayed on me and it weighed on me and it like I was bloated. I didn't feel great, but I had so much anxiety. I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't stop replaying what happened to me. I literally could not stop drinking because I could not think about what was happening to me, right?
Mhm.
And so I went back to therapy, but it took a long time to even talk. I couldn't even talk. Remember, I didn't even respond to messages, got off
Yeah.
social media. And
Mhm.
when I went to therapy and finally could even like literally talk, I mean,
Mhm.
say words out of my mouth, then I stopped drinking as much and I started drinking like every other day and then like on the weekends. But I was in Texas for a couple months and slowly but surely my face started going back to normal a little bit. I still
Mhm.
can't stop obsessing over it, but maybe it's just me.
You
Um,
look
but
beautiful. You look yeah, you look so good. I can't wait to see you and hug you in person, but
me
you look like
too.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's hard to see me like how I looked before the before I fell. It's hard to even like
Yeah.
think about how my face looked, but it could be really in my head. And so New Year's was coming around. I was like, I cannot go into this New Year feeling how I felt. So I said, I'm
Mhm.
going to give up alcohol. So I gave up alcohol, and I've never really liked alcohol, but I have
Mhm.
social anxiety. Like I know people think I'm really outgoing. I know I'm a Leo, but I can talk and meet people and just be like whatever. But in my head, I'm replaying everything that I'm saying. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
every time I say a sentence, I'm replaying it.
Mhm.
We're comfortable, so I don't have to do it right now. I'm in a safe
Mhm.
space. But every time I go anywhere, I replay everything that I say in
But
my
that's
brain.
so real. That's so real. And thank you for addressing that because I'm someone that like did not understand anxiety, let alone social anxiety, but that's absolutely so real. So just thank you for even like speaking that. Hmm.
It's so real. Even to the most outgoing people, social anxiety is real. So then when I would drink, I would get kind of tipsy, but I am fun. Like when I drink, I'm a fun drunk. My personality like just goes even further because I'm
Hmm.
not thinking about I'm just me. I just get to
Yeah.
be me without
Hmm.
thinking. So that's what I like about alcohol, but I don't actually like how it feels. Never really cared for how it tastes. So I didn't drink all of January. Then I came back to New York.
Hmm.
You know how you go out and I'm still anxious. I went out and I was so anxious when I went out that I was like, everyone was drinking. I drank a beer and that's all I had. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Maybe I can just get tipsy and feel good. So
Hmm.
I went to about 3 events so far since being here. And instead of getting drunk, I've had like maybe a drink or two, like a beer, and then I'll have like a margarita. That is my
Hmm.
go-to. Love me a margarita.
Hmm.
So alcohol was created to make women susceptible. Of all the dumb decisions I can think about, of all the situations I've been in where I made myself vulnerable or got harmed, I was drinking. I like the times when I really didn't even like that nigga like that. I drank and it made me feel like, oh, maybe he's kind of cute, you know? It makes
Hmm.
you more susceptible. And I would encourage all women to go on a sobriety journey
Hmm.
for however long, just to
Yeah.
see it, to read up about it, to get support, because even when you think you don't have an alcohol problem, a lot of us have a problem with alcohol. Like for real.
Girl, or even let's say, and what I even like a weed problem. I think
Yeah.
it's these coping mechanisms that we are
Yeah.
just like, no, it's okay though. And I think like listeners, this is really going to be the year where it's like, no, bitch, COVID was 4 years ago, but I think so many people are still coming out of that fog, that collective fucking
That
trauma.
mentality. Yep.
So
Hmm.
seeing like, no, these coping mechanisms, these tool, and I love you so much, Bree, for saying like the sobriety journey, because I'm currently like day one on it. And it's tough too, because then you kind of forget how you work, how you function sober. And so then you want to reach for the drink or you want to reach for the blunt. But I think there's something so important about getting to know yourself with out those substances, and just to and to
Yeah.
that keep women, we have so many senses. It keeps us just like muted a bit.
It numbs us to our intuition, and it just numbs you. It just makes you like put everything to the back. And it's like, yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Look at us having breakthroughs. No. Yeah. 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 So and I think I love too, especially because it's, being sober or this or that. You don't have to announce anything to anyone. Like it can be your own personal journey. It totally can. So then it doesn't have to be like a thing like, oh, well, now I'm drinking again. You need to
Yeah,
listen to your body. And I like that you didn't totally cut it out, because now you're like, well, let me see, how do I do with just one beer? And like maybe so you can be like lubricated a little and still have your social anxiety and try to cope, because that's a part of you, Brie. Like anxiety, whatever, that's a part of a lot of humans and a lot of women.
I agree. Hmm, I'm working through it.
This podcast, and I think I'm like reworking the title because I just feel like self-love, it's just being marketed so fucking weird. The white women, the wellness women, they're taking it. But at the core and at the root, what does self-love mean to you, and how do you practice that in your life?
Self-love means actually validating yourself without anyone's outside opinion. Like actually truly loving who you are. Maybe not even loving who you are all the time, but just like being okay with existing without tearing yourself down, without picking yourself apart, just being comfortable being you. We as humans have overcomplicated our lives so much. Like, think about fucking giraffes. We saw giraffes arguing over whose neck was taller, who had darker spots, taking selfies,
A
talking shit
mess.
because one's tail was bigger. We'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with these giraffes? We have overcomplicated being humans when we were supposed to just be out here existing. Like, we have truly got to get back to the root of our beings just as people. And even
Mhm.
like I was listening to your podcast when I went just earlier, I went to the to do laundry, and just hearing you talk about under 3,000, and like we have made ourselves be such a commodity. What are our passions? The fact that Andre 3000 is doing a show and it's not about his music, it's just like a passion. Like we have to get to the root of who we are just as like a person existing, like what makes us
Yeah.
feel good, not what brings us money, just what feels good. What do you really love? And romanticizing your life, not just
Mhm.
loving quote unquote you and your body and all that
Yeah.
like movement, but like what do you really love to do? Just you, your autonomy,
Yeah.
yourself. And you won't it won't be an everyday thing. You won't love yourself every day. Growth isn't linear, but like take that damn journey. Please, please take that journey because a lot of us don't love ourselves, and that's why we are loving other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I think it's just important too that the validation, like it's not going to come from anyone but yourself. And I
Mhm.
never even thought about that, Brie. Think like just existing. I just was thinking like, and I'm gonna explore that this weekend for myself, like just to be, like no work, no this, no that, no, like what is it just to be? And we haven't had a chance to ask ourselves that in a while. So I think that's really important. And in that in itself, that's a form of self-love, like just existing. I know we both follow, follow the the NAP ministry where they talk about rest and collective radical rest. Do you follow that account? It's
Maybe, probably.
maybe but it's just like we're worthy. You are already fucking worthy as you are. So we don't have to reach or want or climb for anything. How can we just exist and be? I actually really love that.
Same. And like just hearing you say that, I'm thinking, when was the last time we went a full day just doing nothing? There has not, I can't remember in the last, since COVID, maybe 4 years of moving to New York, where I didn't think about this is what I gotta do for my podcast. This is what I gotta do to connect. There has
Yeah.
not been a day, or for my kid or for work, there has not been
Mhm.
a day in years where I just got up and was like, I'm gonna just do a whole bunch of shit
There
I want to do
hasn't.
today that has stayed off the phone, just did it, lived in the real world, wasn't thinking about putting out. like a post or a picture
Yep.
people. I just did whatever not even one day can I
No, you're so
remember.
right. And then too, I want to be like, so are we living like in a simulation, or are we all, this is just, we're all in like the hamster wheel of just capitalism, economy, but it's not even real, which is so, so crazy. Is that what they say? The Matrix? The
I was just gonna written and produced and created by a black woman and they stole it from her. That the Matrix was made by a black woman. That tells you like hell yeah, go do the research on the Matrix. The movie was
I believe it
created
because the main girl,
by a
the main
black
Oracle, she's a black woman. So I
the
know they
black
stole
woman.
it.
They stole it from her. So it's like we are in a fucking simulation. They have created all of this to distract us from just being a fucking human. I just want to be here, bitch. I just want to be
Yeah.
here.
Literally, literally. And to that, like, I'm excited to see the shift. Well, because I feel like the society in like the 80s and 90s, like, I feel like women, right? We didn't have power. We did so much. But now I feel like we're really going to see it go back to the clock of maybe like not domesticate motherhood, but like you just go in the fucking woods and live your life in a fucking little forest, little house, and just do you. Take your family, like really just be off the grid, shit, off the grid. Cause it's like, it's all too much. And I feel like it's affecting all of our healths, and eventually like America's going to come to like a breaking point and we're all going to have to just reevaluate ourselves because it's not working. And I think people are getting very, very tired, and now it's just manifested as anger, as boredom, and just people are exhausted. And isn't it crazy that we're so exhausted, but we had COVID and we had like, oh, we had 2 years of rest? No, we were all living
No,
and suffering in trauma, and the government threw
no.
14 fucking hundred. Girl,
Dollars.
when was our tax dollars? Were they really give us back our money that we
Here, shut
here
up. Yeah.
you a mess? But I think it's important to simply make it a daily practice of practicing self-love. Like that is my form of saying like America can't have my soul or my body. No, it belongs to me. It belongs to God. I'm really trying to get into like a nighttime routine because I feel like that helps you just like kind of like end your day. I can't even think about like, oh, let me just go to bed because tomorrow's another day and did it. I really want to just make time to romanticize my life. So thank you for saying that too. Yeah.
Yeah, routine can be a beautiful thing. Like it can keep you going, especially when you put in pockets of things that you really like
Mhm.
enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm gonna finish with one last question. You're on your dying deathbed and it's your last meal. What are we having? And I need everything. What are you drinking? What are you having? What's the dessert? What? And then who are you experiencing your last meal with? Like who is this? Who's at your last meal?
I definitely want to be with my family, the whole family. My whole family was in my birthing room when I gave birth. I mean, everyone. One of my cousins
Who-
was eating chicken and having a good time laughing. But it
I
was now when I think back on it, it was such a beautiful experience. I was at a birthing center and it was huge. Like it was the size of my room. It was humongous.
I love
Anyway,
that. And see,
it
I
was
love that.
beautiful.
And that makes me excited. And that's the only way I'm having my baby in a hospital. Cause like I see the new age is like, oh, it's just me and my partner. I want my mama. I want my grandma. I want my
And
best friend.
they
I want
really
you.
won't let you. They won't. That was 10 years ago, first of all. And I was in this huge birthing center. I had a water bath, like a
A
big ass
pool.
water, not the pool, the a big ass tub, huge.
Oh
I mean,
my
so
God.
I had so much at that birthing center. But yeah, it was beautiful to think about it. I mean, it was like 20 people in there watching me give birth. Now
Mhm.
the hospital rooms are so small. There's no way. It probably only fit like 4 people.
Yeah.
It's really a business to have a baby. But yeah, I would want my whole family there. I would drink water. I actually would drink water. I'm like, I really, really enjoy water. Nothing makes me feel as good and as alive as water does.
Hmm.
I don't know, Brie.
Last meal. What do you eat? It's Brie. You're gonna go to the pearly gates, and I don't know if we're eating in heaven. We're spirits. So what are you eating?
Really think I would have choose steak and broccoli. I love me some steak
Ah,
broccoli.
steak. How do you eat your
I
steak, Brie? How do you eat your steak?
steak broccoli.
Yeah.
Medium well, no blood, no pink,
No,
like no pink, no, no pink.
is your steak brown?
My steak is brown.
Ah,
My steak is
okay,
how I
okay.
like penis, brown.
Ah, wait, I'm dead. But I've never heard you're a rare breed. I haven't heard. Okay, so steak and broccoli, but well done. Okay. Are we getting a
Yeah, I'm so
side?
basic. Maybe like a baked potato, mashed potato. I want to feel like my mom. I want my mom to cook it. I want to feel.
Mhm.
Well, I hope she probably be dead by then. But okay, but I want it to feel as home as and as normal as possible. I don't need nothing extra. I just want my family there. I
Mhm.
don't know if I care about food enough to where my last meal means that much. Maybe I want to have sex or something intimate. But yeah, my whole family. Hmm. And I want it to
I
be a party. I want them to party me out.
I love it. I love it. Last thing, I always close out. Tell me what's one thing if you could tell your younger self anything about your body and about how to take care of yourself. What's one thing you would tell your younger self?
Girl, you're gonna be fine as shit. You're gonna be so fine. Nothing that they're saying now is gonna matter. You're gonna learn to like really love yourself. And what was the last question? What was after
That was it. Yeah. What would you tell your younger self? Yeah. That's one thing about your
that?
body. Yeah. Anything about, yeah, you're fine as shit.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Because she wouldn't have ever believed that she would actually be even a little pretty. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, you'll be fine.
Oh my God, Brie. Like my 14-year-old felt that because now here it's like she never would have thought she'd be who she is, like, or I'd be me and pretty and attractive or anything. But so much of that, listeners, it's your environment. So change your environment. Change your environment. Brie, where can
Great.
my listeners follow you, find you? Thank you so much for taking time. I know it's like a Wednesday weeknight. Thank you so, so much. Where can everyone find you, follow you?
I love that it was a Wednesday because it was like the perfect over the hill. We're halfway there.
Mhm.
You can find me on the IG at Breathe the Black Sheep. That is my podcast name, podcast Instagram, and you can find me at Bree BR, I think two eyes dot like the cheese, Bree like the cheese. But no, it's not spelled like the cheese, but it's just Bree like the cheese.
BRI.
Yeah,
Yes.
BRI, but I think it's two eyes.
Two
But you'll
eyes.
find
Mhm.
me. Go look on Bree's Instagram.
Yes,
Yeah.
you'll find. Wait, before we close out, we had one of the best days. Oh my God, where we rode our city bikes from
Oh,
Harlem to Central Park. Then listen, Central Park, the Jackie Onassis,
oh
the
my
water. Then we
God.
went all the way through Times Square. Then we find this video shoot thing and we literally ski, 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 ski.
Ray,
Listeners,
when I tell you that was one of the best days, that is one of the New York days I'm gonna always remember. I had, you know what? That is one of the last times where I just had a whole day. I didn't think about work. That was such a resilient. I remember one time me and you were talking about, you were like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to always have the protest. I just want to be able to live. And I was like, Bree, our resilience, our love, and us getting up every day and caring for ourselves is the fight. They want us dead. Every day we
ah,
get up and have the best day, touch another Black girl, have our community. We're
yes,
fighting. We are fighting the fight. And that was one of the most like just beautiful, perfect, peaceful New York
incredible.
days. It was incredible. We
In
biked all day.
all day. And it was, I'm a member now, but I was a member. I was biking
Yeah,
for like $22. Bree was like, I was like, it's okay. We're biking.
not
We
to
had
buy
good sushi.
$6.
I know. But but now mine gets that price too. Now I got it. I got it. But it was so great. And Brie, that's how we can close it. Because if you're a woman, but specifically if you're a black woman, a woman of
Woman.
color, it's a miracle that we're here. And they wanted us dead, but bitch, still we rise. I loved your episode last week. You closing with that, Maya Angelou. Still we rise.
Yeah,
Thank you,
just know.
Bree. No,
Go ahead.
what were you gonna
Love
say?
you. I was
Thank
just
you.
gonna say, just know that every day you get up and exist, like you're winning it. You're winning the fight. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do every day. Get up. That's it.
Get up. Get up and live. All right, bye guys.
Love
Thanks so much.
you.
I love you, Bree.
Peace.
Bye.